Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of In the Eyes of Truth. Gotta remember which language we're doing this in this time. Um, back with me is Andrey Martyanov. For the English speakers, you've all seen him many times, so I don't think there needs to be a major introduction. Today we're going to be talking about as the empire seems to decline, it seems to be thrashing in every single direction it can, including internally. So we've got military buildup in Venezuela, near Venezuela. A fourth speedboat has been destroyed or boat with no, who knows who was really on it because they're all killed and burned. Iran is on the periphery, getting ready to become a major conflict again. Ukraine is degenerating as far as Western Trump-Putin relations. Oh, and we're going to have a little civil war by sending troops into every major northern city and western city. As Trump said, it'll be a training ground. A training ground for what? Don't laugh too hard.
Yeah, yes.
So wait. You're in Seattle. Aren't they going to send them into Seattle also?
No, probably, but you see, this is the issue. In terms of the situation in the major coastal cities in the United States, I'm kind of ambivalent on Trump sending the army, because obviously what is happening right now in the cities around the coast of the United States, eastern and east seaboard, eastern seaboard, and west. It has nothing to do with the Constitution of the United States or whatever. These are radicalized crap holes, essentially, and they are drowning in the crime. By the way, I applauded Trump. I don't think it's Trump. Trump is too cowardly and not really coherent to make those decisions anymore. He is becoming Biden 2.0, but he's in the initial stages of it. Dementia and all kinds of the things aggravated by the narcissism. But I believe it was Stephen Miller who really has a major impact on him internally in terms of internal policies. And I think that it's not necessarily a bad decision because essentially those cities are not ruled by by law anymore. They do not adhere to constitution. They are becoming the sanctuary cities for all kinds of people, including from the such organization as Sinaloa cartels. Those are organized crime groups, drug trades, and I believe it's Stephen Miller who actually pushes this agenda. And I have to admit there is a kernel of truth in what he's trying to do. The rest of it, however, that is just absolute catastrophe. And I don't know what Trump says. What he says, he says from the point of view of the man who is a child. He is absolutely a man who, in terms of maturity level, he probably still stuck in his 20s, albeit his body begins to give up. And, well, you know what? I mean, yeah, we live in the complete panopticon, essentially, and it's idiocracy all over the place.
Have you seen my interview with Victor Radetzky? Victor was in Trump's entourage when Victor was in on the Navy SEALs, and then afterwards, and he was talking about just how much drugs they used to do in the 90s. Trump was, I don't do drugs, but he said, yeah, they were doing so much
Yeah,
party drugs nonstop. But
yeah,
but there's also this question for sending troops in. It's called Posse Comitatus,
yeah,
1878
I
law.
know.
How do they get around that?
Oh, very easy. Let's remember the March of the Veterans in Washington, and
Hmm.
where Mr. This basically admired all across the U.S. Army, George S. Patton, distinguished himself by basically beating the crap out of and killing his, his veterans.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
guys who he was with in World War One. So this is nothing. How to say it? I mean, Constitution of the United States is a kind of, such an interesting document. And the only reason we here in the United States still kind of try to adhere it is, of course, of the Bill of Rights primarily,
Yeah,
because it's the
yeah.
first and second amendments and things of this nature. But in terms of troops in, come on, I mean, I went through the collapse of the Soviet Union. If not for the Soviet army and garrisons, for example, we've been stationed in Baku, there would have been much larger bloodshed with up to the full-blown ethnic cleansing, let's say, of Russian population, which did happen actually in Grozny in Chechnya in
It
1993.
happened in Central Asia
So
too.
yeah, in this case, as I already stated, I am ambivalent on this. So I have to wait and see where it all brings us to. So and Trump is merely, well, he is the talking head. He purges a lot of hot air out of himself, and but we have to wait and see what is happening in terms of, there is a well-established fact that number of the already U.S. banks are running the drug money from the cartels. The cartels are present as the lobbyists in on Capitol in Washington D.C. Yeah, they have the access
Oh
to the
yeah, yeah.
senators. So yeah, in this case, let them do it. We'll see where it all goes. But the rest of it, yeah, we can sit and here discuss all kinds of the constitutional law and things of this nature. But the truth is, United States, considering the fact that it's the second nuclear superpower in the world, you know what? I would rather have them controlling what otherwise could become a catastrophe if the country loses complete control. And again, do not forget, this is not the military culture of Soviet Union and Soviet army. And we're talking about the stockpiles of the nuclear weapons and fissile materials.
Hmm.
Yeah, if that's what have been happening, for example, in Germany, who cares? Let them just rot. In France, they have the nuclear deterrent. Can you imagine all those Wahhabis, and radical Islamists getting hands on that, which can happen in France,
Yeah,
which
it
is
could.
completely corrupted. They have those people with those radical views already fully entrenched in the French society. So, do we want to go there with the cartels, organized crime groups, essentially penetrating and getting into the decision circuit somewhere?
So,
Even
so
considering the fact that obviously the United States has a very robust security issue, security protocols around nuclear weapons. But again, remember Soviet Union in 1989, we didn't even think that it would happen. 1991, it collapsed.
yeah, yeah. So Andrei, if I'm hearing you correctly, Russia needs to do a expeditionary force to France to secure France's
That's what
nuclear
I'm saying.
arsenal
Exactly.
to save humanity from France and
Exactly, exactly. So,
different
yeah, because
Frenchmen.
obviously, British cannot do that. French army is demoralized bunch of the creeps, so they don't have fighting force there realistically, and so the society is completely degenerate and demoralized, and essentially they even lie about demographics if we talk about France. So,
Oh
and when
yeah,
I say that GRU and FSB and have to GU today have to be thinking about what you're gonna do with this. When you have those, how many, I don't remember how many warheads in France, which you understand they are pathetic in terms of defending whatever they love to talk. And then, of course, I always add that, yeah, there has to be secured the treasures of Louvre and other places, because
of
there would
course.
be very many people from, let's say, Arab world who are of the radical and Talibanish type, Wahhabis, radicals, they wouldn't mind, cutting and burning all those, infidel things from Louvre. So, and again, French are incapable of defending themselves. They talk a
Wait,
lot.
wait a minute, you're saying there are radical Islamic jihadists in France?
Oh
No.
no, yeah. And can you imagine that they have now this flow of the weapons, from Ukraine? Oh my God. So can you imagine French army facing the people who can shoot back?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
I've seen
So
videos of their training and it doesn't
yeah,
look pretty.
yeah,
In the
yeah.
cities, my God, they're like they're like
Bunch of, yeah, they are
Cub
boys.
Scouts with
Yeah.
guns.
And can you imagine those guys, Dijon? They should remember Dijon when the bunch of Chechens and Arabs, I mean, got on the nerves of each other, and they couldn't defend themselves. Well, and so, yeah, let's be honest. We have to say this. Uh, Really look at this realistically, and yeah, this is what it is. I mean, uh, and the Europeans, they don't have any capability to do anything about it. They are completely demoralized, and Western Europe is done. It's over for it.
Well, I think England isn't done yet. I think England's going to
No,
have a
in
bloody
British, no,
civil
English,
war,
yeah,
and the Irish too
English.
are going to have a bloody civil war, but they're not done.
No, they're not done. I actually hope so that they're not done because obviously we grew up with, especially my generation and Soviet Union, we grew up with great, British culture, with from literature to rock music to many people do not understand. It was British rock music which affected Soviet Union dramatically, and we're talking about from Beatles to Rolling Stones to, of course, Sweet Slade, Deep Purple, man. I mean, this was just we grew up with that. We grew up with, some wonderful British, cinematography and all that. So, yeah. And the fact that British finally started to wake up to this is good. Not French. French care only about their stomachs. They don't
Yep.
have guts to, they have no honor. They had this, oh my God, people were upset, some of them, with the say Satanism which was performed on the Paris Olympics, which is they
Oh,
love.
jeez,
Yeah.
jeez.
So, and that's what we have today. And many people still, when we talk about the American cities, for example, many people still do not understand that how complex the problem is. Because obviously, can you imagine some moron with PhD in sociology from some liberal university explaining to him, the dude, and which I agree, Stephen Miller, all those media figures, why don't they move into those communities, especially
Ah,
Hispanic and
yeah.
ghettos, and live there?
Right,
Let's see what's
right,
going to happen to them. I would love to
right.
hear their opinions after their wives raped, their husband beaten the crap out of them, maybe killed. Their kids are, just put on on drugs and things like that. I mean, this is their essentially the intellectual degeneration of the combined West.
Yep.
You have those morons who live in their, silver spoons. Well, come on, what kind of education can you get in the humanities departments of or faculties of Ivy League schools? They're good old boys and girls going there. Oh yeah, they are all from poor families like J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
Eulogy for that. Sure, sure, yeah.
Well, no, he's from a poor family. He just got picked up by very rich people to patronize
Yeah,
his patrons. So yeah, yeah. Well, there's this. The problem is you're right about the education level out of these humanitarian colleges, but the problem is they come out with huge self egos.
yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah.
Just they're very self confident. They're ignorant, but they're very very self confident.
But that's the Dunning-Kruger effect. You cannot explain to moron that he is moron because he is moron. And those people, including there in Washington, D.C., across the board, from military to CIA to intelligence, all that, they are morons. They never experienced anything of serious nature. They think that they are the it thing, and can you imagine talking to some CIA analyst who is Russian specialist, the guy probably has no, he can know the, or he or she can know the Russian language, but they still
Maybe.
have no clue about the subject,
Yeah.
because they don't have reference points, they don't have the basically a tool, toolkit required for grasping it, and
Yeah.
that goes across the board. And once you get into the pure political matter, look at them. Look at Trump, for crying out loud, okay? Look at all of them, and look at Biden administration. You had the people who are the downright morons like Sullivan and Blinken, who were essentially put in charge together with this dumb as a stump, his wife, PhD in pedagogics, oh, good Lord, whatever that means. And they were trying to run the country. They almost started the World War III. because they
Oh,
are morons.
but wait. They had the brain trust of Harris.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely. Look at the DNC. What is Democratic National Committee today? It is
Well,
essentially organized crime group,
you,
which runs all. That's what it is. It is supported by other organized crime groups, which is essentially the criminal in the sense that they propagated the mutilation of American children, which is of course the United States Teachers Union. United States Teachers Union. American teacher is the most vile creature. They have no honor. They have no task of defending children and educating them. They indoctrinate and brainwash them. And so we look at this the composition of the society. It is everywhere.
yeah.
And if you look at the GOP, well, they are primarily in the pockets of Israel. So we just look at the like,
Who,
okay,
by the
well,
way, does the exact same thing to other people.
yeah. So, and where do we go from here? And now can you imagine this bunch, the ship of fools, decides to conduct the most complex thing in the world, in the human history, war.
With Russia.
Yeah. And it's like, good guys. I had friends, and they are, former senior officer and all officers and things like that. Say, have you ever been asked to go and teach in some academy? And I said, no, I will. First, even if I would have been asked, I wouldn't go. But second, who would ask me? Because basically it's the echo chamber, which is completely, I mean, it's
Yeah,
chamber, it's
yeah.
sealed. There's nothing goes in and out of it except for the BS. And those few, which all of them from Danny Davis to the Colonel Wilkerson, and we all know those people, personally in many respects, and so they are not allowed anywhere near.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was asked on a Russian show about a week ago, like, why are all the best American officers colonels? I'm like, well, because they don't kiss ass to become generals.
Yeah,
That's the problem. I've known two generals in my life. One of them was actually a colonel when I served under him, General Griffin, God rest his soul, and General Hardin. They were both one-star generals. They were the exceptions to even make one-star because they were not politically correct. They were soldiers. They'd
yeah,
been soldiers, unpolitically correct. I'm not sure about Hardin, but Griffin was a Marine grunt. That's how he started his career. Um, and they understood things. The rest are just, even if they understand, they're politicals. They
yeah,
know what the master wants to hear. That's all they're gonna say. They
yeah.
got the big bucks ahead of them.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. When you look at Kellogg or Ben Hodges is embarrassment to U.S. Army. He is embarrassment. The guy is a clown. He is a laughing stock even within the U.S. Army. And Danny Davis always tortures me with, okay, now let's listen to Ben Hodges, and everybody begins to laugh. Because I mean, you cannot be that. I don't know if those people, I understand there are money involved, but you know what? There is a certain red line behind which you cannot compromise yourself anymore. And you have to say, I'm not going to take it anymore. Like famous network movie, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. No, they're just good with this. They parade themselves as clowns, which they are evidently, people who are utterly incompetent militarily. And you look at this like, good Lord, that's who they are, man. It's
Uh,
unbelievable.
I'm gonna say something crude, so if people are shocked by crudeness, go ahead and just skip the next 10 seconds. I'm gonna say it the way they say it in the army. He is a waste of sperm, and the best part of him ran down the crack of his mama's ass.
Yes, that's pretty much it.
That's Ben Hodges. Take
Yeah.
take
Oh,
that to the
yeah.
bank,
For
and not
kid, I
only
mean,
him.
yeah, they are butthurt. They are butthurt because obviously what have been demonstrated to them throughout the special
Oh, jeez.
operation, they cannot take it. They just cannot take it.
Yeah.
That's because of what they observe the technological operational level, which they can never achieve. And because of that, they're so sour grapes, man. You can see it. It's tangible. It just squeezes out of them, oozes. And when you listen to them about strategy, really, I mean, give me any PhD in strategy from the goddamn, you know what, General Staff and Command College from the Leavenworth, Kansas. They're freaking amateurs. They don't know the real history. They don't understand what strategy is. You
Yep.
have this, and it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. But you know, we are. I'm starting to write the other book because my publishers just jumped on me, you know, and they just, and probably just in case, you know, somebody else is not gonna catch with me in terms of publishing, but yeah, they're my publishers. I love them, and so we're gonna be writing this, and yeah, I'm gonna be doing this obviously with my friends from Russian army, you know, and some of them, you know, and so because yeah, it's just that's the only thing you can do, you know, just say what it is, how it should be done, and if they want to preserve the country as the United States, which of course I have vested interest in because I live here, is that this cannot continue anymore because it's just complete disintegration.
Well, if you need some commentary or help, yeah, let me know.
Sure.
I'm actually
Oh yeah.
I'm starting to write a book on my experience in Western corporations and the stupidity and idiocy and corruption.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the senior management, upper mid management. So I was the director, regional director in Halliburton, region by I mean Eurasia,
Yeah.
and those levels, and you from going up and you see on the corporate side and these okay military as long as it's peacetime they just need to stick around and make the next rank peace you know corporations they need to make money
Yeah.
and there's so many idiots involved it's just shocking it's shocking it's society it's just society.
Yeah, it's that's probably how I'm gonna arrange the book. Obviously, you're gonna get the manuscript also, and you maybe you even contribute.
Hmm.
So we'll see. I definitely gonna be talking to you, and it's gonna be reflected properly. We'll have to have the conversation about this also, and
Excuse me.
because my last book, not last, fine, latest book, evidently made an impression and and
Hmm.
disintegration. Well, all of them made an impression, but it's time to really get into this with the proper operational and numerical things, you know, because you cannot continue saying, "Oh yeah, there are drones, they're flying." Okay, that's fine. Give me the operational data. I'm not interested that somebody launched this drone and it hit somebody, which is good, which is cool. Explosions, bada boom, you know, and so but what are the numbers which are publicly available, of course, or seen, you know, open source
Hmm.
intelligence, not some kind of classified stuff, God forbid me to even go there. And and yeah, it's kind of like came to a head, if you know, if you wish, with this
Hmm.
whole damn thing. And when you look attentively at what Trump is doing, is just, good Lord, I
Did
don't know.
you see the video that came out on YouTube? It just popped in my feed. It was a Marine U.S. Marine Corps on how to handle drones,
Okay,
right?
no, I didn't see it.
So this guy makes out of paper, out of plastic bags, right? Things underhand, and a pole. He makes basically a really big mop out of plastic bag, and he's running, knocking the drones out, right? Now
Oh,
you
good
start to
Lord.
consider that an FPV drone when it's diving in can go up to 120 plus kilometers per hour.
Yeah,
Good luck trying to knock it out of the
yeah,
air
it's
with
just,
a freaking with a big homemade
yeah,
mop.
it's unbelievable. It's
God.
unbelievable.
But
It's,
this is what they're telling them to yo, when you get in this environment, cope with a mop. And
yeah.
it's a combat mop because he's running with the mop while he's holding his M16. He's crawling with a mop.
Well, you saw probably the latest update on one of the field manuals, tactical, not operations, with the armor, how you have to show, you know, the three tanks, you know, tank platoon, and the four tanks, the commander tank is there, and he shows the hand signals of the drones approaching. It's like, and the guys out of their hatches, and Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, there is so yeah, and I don't know. So it's just yeah, we've been through this before. We
Andre,
discussed.
we had those hand signals for helicopters. Do you know how a tank commander find or a tank platoon leader or a tank company commander finds out there are enemy attack helicopters in the area? Somebody
Oh,
blows up. That's how you find
somebody
out.
yeah, that's
Oh
yeah,
shit!
that's
Boom. Because
yeah,
there's at least one burning tank already, maybe two or three burning
yeah,
tanks, and you go, oh shit! Because those helicopters pop up, they launch, and they pop
yep,
back down, and
yep,
that's by the time you're doing somebody's
yep.
burning. Maybe you're burning. It's
It's like it's a naval things too. If you can see the patrol anti-submarine warfare airplane,
hmm
such as the P3 Orion or
hmm
now P8 8 Poseidon, if you see it through your periscope, that means you are dead. It's simple as that.
yeah.
Okay, because that's it.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
gonna nothing you can do about it. And the same thing here. And many people do not understand the factor of time and how it is basically perceived among professionals. And I experienced myself this basically the abyss, cognitive abyss you cannot cross towards civilians who never dealt with any kind of the military organization, let alone had the access or clearance to deal with the things which are really classified even today. Many of them are. And what is written in there and how it is taught, and at some point of time, say you just throw your hands in the air, say, you know what, I cannot do this anymore. And then, of course, people come back again. No, you have to say this, okay, or you go out and you try to explain. And until you literally basically get this, cut this groove in their brains, that we start with the simple thing that we do not know the situation. We start with the simple thing that we admit that we do not know everything. This is where professionals, basically begin to go through. If you have to know something and you have enough intellect, go take a look at this, that, study it, and at least that will build some rigs. And obviously not the in numerical sense when you go into the especially operational operations themselves, which are a lot of math, and a lot of computers and all the things. And I'm forced. I never asked for it. Yeah, I was in the what the leader, and I was director of laboratory in the aerospace company, which was a subcontractor of Boeing of all places, with other Bombardier and others. And I thought, oh yeah, that's good. It's a sweet job. So I was making my decent living. I was doing things. You probably flew on some 737s, which have the parts, which have my, the seal on that I allow those materials to be used. So, but obviously, then we know the Ethiopian and then the other
Yeah, yeah.
737 MAX happened, killed 300 plus people, and then of course COVID struck. And then suddenly, again, what are you gonna do? Okay, you sit home, on those leaves, and I was writing blog for more than 11 years now, and I never thought that it would be in demand, but then somehow it happened, and
Oh, it's good. Yeah, yeah. And I'll tell you one of the biggest idiocies I've seen. I've seen many, from a platoon level and up, from an individual and up. One of
yeah.
the biggest idiocies I've seen when I was in the staff of 18th Airborne Corps, we were practicing. That was the shock that we're constantly practicing getting ready for war with Russia, except for when we were getting ready to go to Baghdad. But one of the exercises we were running was the 18th Airborne Corps. That's 10th Mountain, 82nd Airborne,
It is
101st Airborne, and 3rd Mechanized, at least one
okay.
mechanized division, was supposed to stop a Russian tank army.
That's
We were on the defensive on a hill range, and they're coming up on a plain. right? And we're supposed so this is a map and and computer exercise that ran for a
Yeah.
couple days. And the way they won, because there's no way in hell this is gonna happen. Three light divisions and one heavy division are not gonna stop a friggin' tank army. Sorry, it's not. Without even air dominance. Is at night they would reprogram the computer to give reinforcements, 100% reinforcements.
Oh yeah, new life. It's new life. You played the games, right? That's your
Exactly.
new life. Yeah, that's I love Wolfenstein. Still remains my favorite. I play
Yeah.
Wolfenstein. Okay, I played those mods, and I'm talking about not new Wolfenstein. I'm talking this,
Oh yeah, the old one. Yeah, I played that.
old, yeah, 3Ds, and that's what happened to General
Yeah.
von Ritter in
Yeah.
famous 2002 exercise when he kicked the ass of the U.S. Navy and Marines. And guess what? They actually annulled this whole thing and they made sure that he loses.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said, "Oh, screw you," turned around and went away. What was this name of the eagle type thing, whatever,
Yeah. I
the
don't remember
millennium,
the extra, but I remember
millennium,
that. I remember
millennium Falcon.
that.
Yeah, it just,
Well,
it's
yeah,
like,
they'd get 100%, fill up. Of
yeah,
course,
sure.
the Russian side didn't. And then the next morning, we're back. The entire new
Yeah,
82nd Airborne back from the dead. Oh
yeah,
God, that
it's
was. And you're looking at this on the level of a captain and majors. You're sitting there looking at this, and they're and when the end of the exercise, because they've won, the colonels and the generals are high-fiving each other. Yeah, yeah, we showed we can do this. And you're sitting there looking like, oh my God, my leaders are idiots, you know?
yeah.
And everybody's just got this look on their face like, fuck. Oh, speaking of which, did you hear Trump's comments on Vietnam that he
Yeah, I
draft
heard,
dodged?
I heard, I heard, and I even wrote a post on that. Yeah, it's just, what can I say? It's a kindergarten. The guy never matured. He was always a narcissist. And many people, yeah, Art of the Deal was written obviously by somebody. It's shadow written. And obviously, the fact that he inherited quite a bit of wealth from his daddy he has daddy issues, I think. But no, he does. I mean, obviously, daddy didn't love him, enough. But he was bankrupt 7 times, something like that.
Hmm.
It's not a good business practice, okay? I mean, people do get sometimes bankrupt, but so many times, 7 or 8. I mean, it just the guy was constantly bankrupt. He was constantly in the red. So that tells you something about who he is. And yeah, you know what? Here we are. This is not what can we do? Just at
Yeah.
this stage, yeah. This is how the civilization collapse looks like, and this is what happened with the West. Although yesterday I reminded again, and I reminded over the years. In 2015 in January, and especially when after 2014 the bloodshed started to essentially accelerate, and after the Baltimore and all that, I wrote that everybody knew who started this war. I wrote it, that it's in my blog. People can go 10 years back and see it, more than 10 years, that by starting all that, United States and the combined West lost. They got defeated. They just don't know it yet. Now they are admitting, and everybody says it. I was laughed at that time.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Oh, but like, dudes, you're not impressing me. You know what? And when I wrote the first book in 2017, it was essentially stopped from print in March after the address to Federal Assembly by Vladimir Putin on March 1st, 2018. They said, no, you have to write this additional chapter. So I wrote 2 chapters on that. And then it went to print. I already wrote, I mean, guys, you lost the arms race, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just, how can I explain it? I mean, there's only thing which United States has, which is impressive, of course, it's the Navy. It also has a huge issue with its surface force. It is totally unbalanced. But obviously, submarine force remains one of the 2 top sub forces in the world,
Yeah,
both of
yeah.
them being Russians and Americans. They're really great technology there in terms of platforms. In terms of weapons, they don't even touch what latest Yasin class, they
Okay.
call it Separatist class carries. So, and as a result, how do you approach it? Emmanuel Todd uh, wrote an excellent, that's what my yesterday's video was about. He wrote an excellent foreword for his famous book, which came out in 2024, Defeat of the West. And he wrote about that we can see the collapse across everything. And they cannot admit, they know. In Pentagon, they know that they lost. They really do. There is this, as you correctly stated, a group of some, and Danny Davis, and, all kinds of people, support my assertion that the group of people who are dealing with hands-on operational planning in Pentagon, they know that they lost. They know that they lost and lost by a mile. And even White House, he says, Emmanuel Todd, they know that they lost. So what are you gonna do? How are you gonna
Double
Russia?
down, triple down.
Yeah, the Alaska Anchorage meeting was one of those last logs, not straws, thrown to Trump. Say, grab it. This is the chance for the United States to crawl out, separate from Europe, and be done. And you will not be at least that badly hurt reputation-wise. He, as usual, screwed it up. Today, Rybkov, first deputy of Russian foreign minister, when he stated, it's over. The impulse is
Yep.
that. Everything which
Yep.
was negotiated there. Well, guess what? So Russians didn't want to do it, but they will have to kill more of NATO
Yep.
SOBs, So,
Yep. The Biden 2.0, or maybe Biden was Trump 2.0, it's Trump 3.0.
yeah.
Depends on how you look at it. But yeah.
Yep, that's what it is. And they have no person who has enough guts, and it's probably the fact of the American culture, in a sense, military culture, that in Russia, if many people think that, oh, Putin, okay, yes, Putin, absolutely, the greatest statesman of the 21st century, and historically already the figure at least equaling to Stalin, in its accomplishment in saving the country, But the point is, obviously, many people do not understand that it wasn't just Putin. It was the collective Putin. There were people from the military and intelligence services which saved the country.
Of course.
There was
Of
a
course.
social demand among Russian people for that. And was it a coup? Of course it was. Of course it was. It was a soft coup when after Yugoslavia they came in and told Yeltsin that you have two options. Either we will kill you now, or you retire, and we have this guy, Vladimir Putin, who prior to this was the chairman or director of FSB and prime minister. And
Andrei,
that's what has
Andrei,
happened.
I'm sorry I got to interrupt. We have about half a minute left. Time flies, and we will definitely have this conversation continued because there's so much to continue on this.
Sure,
We're gonna do
sure.
Russian English, Russian English. Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining. Andrei, thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime, Stas.
Yeah, yeah. And let me know if I can help out.
Sure. No, I will be talking about it. Absolutely. I promise you that. So we will kind of do arrangements on terms of how to approach this.
Yep, yep. Everyone, thank you. We'll be cutting off any second now. I don't.